I'm here. And today, we are going to talk about voices from the well. It all starts with a location. This location is a really important part of the story, so pay attention. The story takes place in the town of Oakhaven, which is located deep in the Beartooth Wilderness in Montana. In the town, there's not much to see except for some buildings that have been abandoned for several decades. One of those buildings is an old schoolhouse, and behind the schoolhouse is an old stone. Well, it brings us to ghost number 1. It's said that one day, decades ago, a group of students were playing a classic game of hide and seek. One of them hid behind the school, and when the bell rang, signaling the end of the game, they forgot all about him. When they finally found him, he had fallen into the well and was nowhere to be seen. His name was Tommy, and although the townspeople searched high and low for him, they could never find his body. Even searched the bottom of the well, but it was hundreds of feet deep, and at the bottom they only found water. To this day, no one knows what happened to Tommy or why he disappeared. The townspeople were convinced that he pushed Tommy in the well, and although the police couldn't prove it, they did arrest him. But after spending several days in jail, Jeb returned home and hanged himself in the barn. Before he died, though, he walked down to the well and looked over its edge. He had a final message for whoever was responsible for his fate. As he stood there, he said, "I didn't do it." Then he disappeared. That's where the mystery begins. People walking by the well have reported hearing whispers. Those whispers call out their name and try to convince them to come closer. Other times, they sound angry, like they want revenge. On rare occasions, people report hearing two voices arguing quietly from the darkness below. It's always found open again. It's almost like whatever is inside doesn't want to stay put. The answer is, it's a creepypasta, I wrote titled. I know stories about wells can be kind of cliche, but I hope I was able to add enough original details to keep you interested. My grandfather passed away several years ago and he was cremated. We held a small funeral service and then everyone went home. But ever since then, I've heard strange noises in the backyard. At first, I thought it was just the wind. But as time went on, I started to think maybe it was something else. But before I continue, let me just say that this story is entirely fictional. Any similarities to real events are purely coincidental. Now back to the story. The reason I tell you all of this is because whenever I write a creepypasta, I always try to incorporate some sort of personal experience. If I could give you the same feeling I get while writing these stories, then I would consider it a success. Another thing I wanted to mention is that I didn't make this up to get views or subscribers. When I first started writing, it was just something fun I did for myself. I never imagined anyone would want to listen to my stories. So when the opportunity came along to join a writing website, I jumped at the chance. I didn't start out with any big expectations. I just wanted to see what would happen. One of my biggest surprises was getting tagged as part of the Messed Up Origins collection. If you're unfamiliar with Messed Up Origins, it's a collection of messed up, scary, and sometimes unsettling origin stories. There are currently 10 stories included in the collection, and each one comes from a different author. If you haven't checked out the collection yet, I encourage you to take a look. Here's a quick list of the other stories in the collection. Also, if you enjoyed Voices from the Well, please consider voting for it. It only takes a few seconds and helps support both myself and the website. Before I move on, I also wanted to say thank you to everyone who leaves a comment on my videos. Some of you offer suggestions for future videos and others just say hi. Either way, I appreciate you taking the time to interact. If you want to continue watching, I recommend checking out the video, Ghost Caught on Camera. It covers another popular creepypasta from a website. Or if you want to listen to another story, check out the video Dark Day at Disneyland. Either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.